Hi everyone, thanks for checking out our video this week. As you can see, it's a different day for sure. Tyler only owns one outfit. I, on the other hand, have two shirts.
New shirt, same socks.
Anyways, this week we're doing another short video. The link's in the description. It's called Alike. And it's a pretty good one. It's also around kind of, jobs and society like that. But we'll start with Tyler again. What did you think of the video?
It was an emotional journey.
Yeah?
My gosh.
Tyler was having like real emotional reactions during the during the whole thing. He was like, "Oh."
Yeah, no, I'm a very, I talk a lot during movies and things like that. So, but yeah, it was very, very, I think, thought-provoking. It's a single father, or it could be mother. I mean, it could be a genderless future, who knows?
That's fair.
And a single parent. And the first thing you see is obviously just filling the backpack with loads of school work, right? It doesn't matter what it is, it's just work.
Yeah.
And then same thing. And I thought it was a very good point of pointing out that the bags, the work, the school work, were all physically weighing the person down.
Yeah.
Just showing that, and then just to, beat somebody down enough to the point where they're just like everybody else.
Yeah.
Variety is the spice of life.
Yeah.
So I've heard.
Well, and I think it made a very good point of the fact that we do essentially just have, school is a factory, right? Like, we don't teach kids to create for themselves, to think for themselves. We teach kids, this is what you need to know and this is how you should behave in the world. And I do think people just kind of drone on in their lives because of that. And, what I think was the most astute point, or I don't know exactly how to phrase it, but was their color actually fades, right? So the parent's blue, the child's orange, and the violinist is red, and everyone else is gray. Everyone else, it's like the color's their life force, right? Their life force had been drained from them. And you see the father goes to work and his blue turns off, goes away, and he hopes that his kid can turn it back on, right? And that's actually, I see that a lot. Like, kids have such, bright spirits and they're so excited about everything. And the parents do get rejuvenated. But yeah, it was just and then the kid starts to fade too, because, he goes to school, he wants to draw nice pictures, and then the teacher's just like, no. And eventually the kid gives up too.
Mm-hmm. And he's just very like, oh, well, if nobody's going to recognize, even when he gives the picture to his dad's like, you're doing it wrong, basically. And so he's realizing if he's not getting this positive reinforcement, then the only thing he can do to get any kind of positive reinforcement is do what's being asked of him, instead of, exploring his creativity.
Yeah. And I think I think it's exactly how society functions, right? I don't think either of us really fit well in school for different reasons, but to just be told to sit there and have to, repeat after teacher all day, every day, I just didn't see the point. I couldn't stand school because of that, right? And I think, I managed to, let's say, play around the system and not have my, childlike creativity driven down because I didn't care about success in school. But for a lot of people, you see a lot who are just focused on good grades, and if that's their key metric, they don't care what they like, they care about success.
Mm-hmm. And talking to other people from other parts of the world, and not to give you my life story, but I did teach in Thailand for a little bit, and the way that we're expected to teach English is each class, the kids are supposed to essentially learn, 8 to 10 new English words, and that's just through repetition, brute repetition. And then I have a friend who was telling me she grew up in China, and in parts of China, literally, the teacher gets paid in correlation to how well their students do. So if the student gets 4 marks wrong, that student's going to get punished, and the teacher's not going to get paid as well. And so the student, in the end, is beaten down to the point where they don't care about the creativity, they don't care about anything apart from getting the right answer. And same point in this video, the kid just ultimately was like, well, shit, if nobody likes my picture of a tree, then I'm going to have to write A to E.
Yeah, and you saw it kind of first he just drew a picture, and then he drew like fancy letters, right, and that kind of thing. But it's also not just in China and stuff. I don't know about Canada, but I know in the US, the amount schools get of government funding is based on how well the students do on the tests, right? And so then you have a like, but aside from all that, I think what it comes down to is also what is determined to be important, right? So like art isn't important. It's math and science, and it's just like learn these facts, learn these equations. Don't think for yourself. And you see, even I think that's like a main contrast of just like a good teacher and not a good teacher as well, is in universities and in high school. It's like, do they allow you to think for yourself, or do they just tell you this is what you need to know, right? But bringing it back to I kind of got off track a bit. Bringing it back to the cartoon, I think it's just kind of making that the sentiment of society. It's saying that's kind of the sentiment of society, and you see how like at the very start there's a visual of all of the workers with the parent, all just lined up doing their menial task, and then at the end, towards the end, there's that same visual of the student and all of the students just like working away.
Mm-hmm. And you see at the end when the parent and the child embrace, and other people around kind of look at them like, what the hell's going on? Like, this is abnormal, right? But then their color comes back, and then you have to think about if more people in this, environment, in this world were, promoting creativity and were attracted to it, then they would be different colors. The world would be so much more beautiful. Look at all the buildings, all the cars in the background. They were all the exact same.
Yeah.
And then that goes into the future of technology, and if there's more technology and there's less actual human input to jobs, then what will set us apart will be our creativity and our uniqueness.
And I think I don't remember the exact quote, but there's the sentiment around like, let yourself shine and you will encourage others to shine, right? That violinist had their color, mm-hmm. and they enabled this child and parent to get their color back. And it's like, if those two start living with their color, like it's about, it's like viral, right? If you start living a certain way, you hope that you will infect others to start living in that creative way as well. But the other piece that I think was interesting, I don't know if you noticed, but whenever the parent and child were focused on each other, the background faded away and it just became a white backdrop. And I found that really powerful as well, because it really symbolized like, that is what's important, right? The job doesn't matter, the buildings, the cars don't matter, but like their relationship is what mattered. And it's when the parent realized that they started focusing on their child's happiness rather than just feeding the child into the cog of everyone else being alike.
Right, exactly. No, I think that was it was a great illustration of hopefully what the world doesn't become.
Yeah.
I mean, in parts of the world, it's definitely going to that direction.
Yeah.
And that's another great point of multiculturalism, right?
Yeah.
Different colored people working together versus all of one color. Just
that's fair. Though the last point I want to hit on is there was only really two scenes, right? There was the one fade to black when the parent realized, what they'd done to their child, and I'd like to think that's kind of the point we're reaching now is, reassessing the school system and reassessing the work system to say it doesn't have to be this way, right? And in some Nordic countries, they've really changed the way education works to encourage creativity, because that's how you become better down the line. To just be able to recite facts back is not particularly helpful. So I really found that, just like that fade, I found the whole video quite well done, right? It's like 7 minutes of like very well thought out timing and stuff. But that one really, really hit me.
Yeah, and I was so pissed because I thought that it was going to end at the fade to black. And it was like a couple second delay, and I'm like, no!
Yeah, well, I think that was good as well, because like that's how it could end, right? But
that's how it could all end.
Well, that's how this is going to end. So let us know what you think of that video, and thanks for watching. Tune in next week. Ding!
Ding, fries are done.
Cool.
And if there was so much uniformity, then we wouldn't have cool socks.